if you'd cut down on starchers, those chimneys wouldn't seem so small. Have a good trip, sir. Watch out for airplanes, too. How can I thank you really enough for letting us in on Christmas Eve? Any other night of the year, I can understand. We're television people and we come along with the show, but Christmas Eve is so special that to have us in the home is, we think, a very great honor. And thank you is what we think to start with. We'll go along with pretty much the same people and a sense of delight at being this close to you on the big night of the year. We're having a little Christmas Eve down in the studio here. Any big news in tomorrow's paper?
Nothing much, Dave.
Sinatra does benefit for unemployed bullfighters. Look at this one, Cart. Russia gives world 24 hours to get out.
They'll do anything.
Oh. Anything about the big storm in here?
The snow is snowing, the wind is blowing, but I will weather the storm.
Why do I care how much it may storm? We've got the sun to keep us warm.
I can't remember a worse December. Just watch those icicles form.
Why do I care if icicles fall?
We've got the sun to keep us warm. Off with your overcoat, off with your gloves.
You need no overcoat, the sun's shining above.
My back's on fire in this attire, but I will stay where it's warm. Why do we care how much it may storm? We've got the sun to keep us warm. This beats the sleet and rain. This beats the snow. I'm from Milwaukee. I ought to know. Why do we care how much it may storm? We've got the sun to keep us warm. Why do we care how much it may storm? We've got the sun to keep us warm.
Don't lose your head. Keep paddling. Keep paddling. I'll be there. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it.
Changed my mind. Maybe the water was too hard. Sure. Well, I wish you could see this. Yeah, take a shot on the boom up there. There is what happens. They all had to land on mattresses, and it came closer to the snake pit. All you need, kids, is Olivia de Havilland. It worked wonderful. Really worked out pretty nice. Did somebody say Merry Christmas?
So that show began with some singers and dancers looking for a way to keep warm.
There's supposed to be a script right here, right now.
I know that.
Why don't you get it there? Hey, don't be so glum about it. It's Christmas Eve.
I know that.
Yes, so we were going to tell you a little Christmas Eve story. Most of the shows have had Christmas stories on. We cast around to the usual outside ones, and suddenly we realized we had a small but nice Christmas story right in our own studio. And I would like to read it to you right now. Like most stories, it starts once upon a time. Once upon a time, there was a stagehand. Pretty much like all stagehands in a television studio. Guy was a hard worker, did what he was supposed to do, did it very well. And he was happy with his work. The hours were good, pay was pretty reasonable. Mostly, he liked being around the bright lights and the pretty young people. He moved scenery and adjusted lights and carried props and nailed things together and did all the things that a stagehand has to do. But because it's a TV studio, no one paid much attention to him. Actually, about the only real fun he got out of his job was watching the performers rehearsing and working. He loved to stand just out of camera range and listen to them work, to sing.
I'm old-fashioned. I love the moonlight. I love the old-fashioned thing. The sound of rain upon a window pane. The starry song that April sings. This year's fancies are passing fancies, but sighing sighs, holding hands, these my heart understands. I'm old-fashioned, but I don't mind it. That's how I want to be, as long as you agree to stay old-fashioned with me.
He'd watch and love every minute of it, and when the cue came, he'd do his job fast and quickly. Oh, once in a while, a great while, he'd make a little mistake, and then the director would holler at him on the studio PA.
Move it back the other way. We're taking it on camera 4.
And when he did a good job, as he always did, no one ever said anything at all, really. When the other singers would work, he'd stand around and admire them, listen to them sing as he worked. Once in a while, he'd get to wishing that he could be in front of the camera so people would see him. But he knew that wasn't going to happen, so mostly he went about his work.
I want to hear it again. I want to hear it again. The old piano roll blues. We're sitting at the upright, my sweetie and me.
Pushing on the pedal, singing sweet harmony.
When we hear rink-a-dee-ting,
And we hear plinkety-pling.
we cuddle closer, it seems. And while we kiss, 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 away all our cares, the player piano's playing resonant jazz. I want to hear it again. I want to hear it again. The old piano roll blues. And while we kiss, away all our cares, the player piano's playing resonant jazz. I want to hear it again. I want to hear it again. The old piano roll. I said piano roll. The old piano roll.
The kids who worked on this show were nice folks. It just was that they didn't know he was quite alive, that's all. So he'd pick up his scenery and move it around and keep his eyes open. And he saw things, too. One of the things he loved best of all was to stand and watch the dancers when they rehearsed. Stand there for hours. Eyes all fixed and happy. And he'd cart his scenery around, bring it to where they were. They didn't even see him, really. They weren't unkind. They just thought of him as one of the props, handy for hanging towels on and stuff. One day, long about Christmas time, the cast went up to the fellow who was sort of in charge of the show. They said to him,
Dave, seeing as how it's Christmas, why don't you fix it so the stagehands get a break?
Yeah.
"Oh, what do you mean a break?"
Well, a lot of those fellas would like to have their face in front of the camera once in a while.
Sure, you know, most of them are from out of town. They give their folks a big kick.
Sure, their
if they
folks
can
have
see 'em,
TV
you know?
sets. You
How
know,
about
come
it,
on.
Dave?
Sure,
Sure.
all right.
Hope, is that all right in there?
Yeah, we have enough time. That's okay.
Okay, Haley, take number 4 over and take a shot of all the gang, will you? So that folks can see him. And Haley did, and there they were. The guys who make the show possible. The electricians, stage hands, the dolly pushers, the set designers, costume people, makeup people. These are the people who make the difference. The ones that you never see, but who make what you see look good. These are the ones we're so happy and proud to be with this Christmas Eve. And sure enough, finally, the camera came to him. And there he was, right on the camera, just for a couple of seconds, but enough. And then he went back to work, doing his wonderful job thoroughly, quickly, and nobody paying any attention to him at all, but having a Merry Christmas. And the nicest thing maybe about that Christmas Eve story is that it's perfectly true.
If it was absolutely true in 1950, it's just as true in 1989.
And here are some of...